And this is what happened now. This was the beginning of the end of Graterford. The Attorney General came down from Holmesburg to inspect the joint. Just inspect him. And they told him he had to take his shoes off. I said, what? Shoes on. It wasn't no big thing you walk on the road with your shoes on. He wasn't dirty up in them. But the thing is, what he did, it's still jail.
Right.
They gave us that out of here. Abelard Island made you give to him, but then you forgot that you was in jail.
Right.
You went to the top law enforcement officer in the state. He got to take his shoes off in the penitentiary. He said, "I'll take my shoes off." Okay. Turned around, went back. After that, that was the beginning of the end for us.
Really?
Yep, that's when they sent down. That was in '95, right?
Yeah.
It was '95 when they That's just part of the things that why things start going bad. But the part I want to put down is this. This is very, very important too. You know, a lot of God says in the Quran, right? Allah does not change the condition for people to change what's in their heart. Now we know there's two interpretations for that I know of. One is the person have to change their ways in order to get certain things. The other is that once Allah gives you something good, He don't take it from you unless you begin to commit sins and go against the law, things like that. That's what they started doing down there. And I say that's what they did because we didn't do it.
Right.
Masjid sons, our masjid, we didn't let no women in except the woman who did the cooking. Those were my family. Right? My sister-in-law, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
They would come in?
Huh?
They would come into the masjid?
They would come in the masjid. And we had them on the side over there. Yeah.
Wow.
But they should let women in, period. And let me give you a physical idea about the masjid section up down there from about the late 70s to about 90 to about 2000. There were 3 masjids down there. Masjid Muhammad was basically Wallace Muhammad boys. Masjid Southern, which was us. The Masjid Tubble, which was just a vicious, corrupt joint, right? And we had keys to, at the time, the freedom that we had down in Graterford, it's hard for you to understand how that freedom was because of this joint here. You could get up in the morning and they gave everybody a key to their masjid. 4 keys. Gave me, Talha, a couple other brothers, right?
Wow.
And we should go down there at 7 o'clock in the morning and stay to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Because they hadn't had a new account then.
Right.
So we stayed straight through. And we did everything. And we had we had videos, we had tape recorders, we had everything now, everything we had. And I'm not going to name no names, nothing like that, but certain other men, they started letting the women come in. Now the fact that the masjid was cuckoo, deviant and all that, but still, it was a masjid.
Right.
It was a masjid.
Right.
And on the Eids, right, we wouldn't allow no women in. Except my sister-in-law, because at the time, they used to do our own cooking in the streets. And the sister would cook food, they would come in.
Bring it in.
Bring it in, deliver it. And if you want to donate something, we could donate something. We had people from all over the masjid, that people donating pies and cakes and chicken and beef and everything.
Wow.
I mean, it's hard to understand.
Yeah, how things are now.
We had so much food that we
Right.
just took it back and started giving away. We used to take about 30 and 40 pound cakes back. I'm taking them on the back and just give them away. So what happened, we would come down from 8 in the morning, because we started to eat 8 in the morning, make your Eid prayer, then we had to eat, right? At the time, the man down there was an old head brother named Hamid, right? He was a Habashi. But I'm going to condemn him for his deed. But as far as him doing things for us, man, looking out for us, man, he was superb. He's an old head dude, come out of the Nation of Islam.
So, Shaykh, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Who were the groups claiming Islam at that time?
3 major, listen. They had us, the Sunni Muslims, Masjid Sunday.
So what were the numbers looking like? Give me I need a time frame.
Okay, the number, our time frame, yeah, remember now, this is probably some question Talha want to ask, which is very important if we get into this era down the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had probably, the numbers we had probably at least how many? We had about,
we had over 100 because it was packed.
we had over 100, probably more than that though. We had probably about at least 150 people in our mass, yeah.
150. Yeah. So at this time, Shaykh Talha was the imam.
He was the imam. I was the second in command.
So what year was this?
This is
what time frame?
This is, remember now, I left Graterford the first time in 1975. I came down here in 1972 after I got tried, right, from a cop killing. At that time, wasn't no dean. There was no Sunni Islam in the state.
Right.
There was somebody, but it was in his embroidered form, right? And the Nation of Islam ran everything.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Now this is 72.
This is from about from the late 60s up until around about, you want the time that we began to take it. See, we didn't really begin to take control until probably the 80s. But you gotta remember, see, a lot of things happened before then that I can't explain in 5 minutes.
Right.
After this, you have to go for a period of time. Cause I said, okay, well, so I met Talha in 1975 down Pittsburgh.
So had Shaykh Talha already been to Graterford, or he did it? His first bit was away.
So Talha went down Graterford in 1980. Remember now, there were so many Muslims in the jail in Graterford, but they were corrupt. The whole Jamaat was corrupt.
Why?
Huh?
Why were they corrupt?
Because they had nobody down there who could take hold of the joint, that could overcome the type of dudes who was corrupt. The type of dudes corrupt, they were gangsters.
Right.
The real gangsters. They were Muslims, but they were chasing boys, they were doing all that kind of stuff. Talha almost single-handedly stopped all that.
Wow.
This is why it's so important. When we get to this part, I gotta have a certain section just for him to tell that story, because nobody know that. Talha don't talk about it because he's real modest, right?
Right.
But from 1980, Talha went to go. They tried to kill him a couple times. You know?
What group tried to kill Shaykh Talha?
Different little niggas, not none of the Muslim groups, but just a lot of the Buckeyes. You gotta remember, a lot of Muslims down there, they were Muslim, but they were just corrupt.
Right.
They weren't in a particular group. There were groups down like the Habashi were down there, the Sufis, but they weren't that strong.
The Ahmadiyas.
All them, you know. We know they all heard, but I'm saying all them groups like that, right? The Wild Muhammad boys, you know.
Right.
Because Wild Muhammad was still living then, right?
Right.
He had control of that Jamaat at that time, right?
Right.
So Talha had to go up against all them people. He didn't have nobody really on his side except a few dudes here and there. Because most of the dudes in his Jamaat, the Sunni Muslim Jamaat, were corrupt. Stay still studying guys like that. All them hardcore. These rough boys. But they were Muslim in name only, because I had to, in 1974, this is why before I met Talha, 1974, about a year before I met him, I was the man down Graterford.
Right.
I only been a Muslim about 2.5 years. Right? And I didn't really know anything about Islam. I didn't have no real knowledge in, but I had enough knowledge to know what was from the number was wrong, right?
Right.
So what happened was that a lot of the dudes in Jamaat down in my Jamaat, they were these hardcore corrupt dudes, man. I mean, I say corrupt, these dudes, they were pedophiles and chasing boys and whatnot. And see, and then other than that, outside of the Jamaat, there was a lot of, Graterford was a monster.
Killers up in that joint, man.
Killing field, man, you know? And so, every Friday, right, during Juma, I used to notice certain guys, like, fat back in the cast, man. They used to stand up from the masjid, scheming on the young boys.
Yeah.
Now, here's why I say it's real important. The Muslims got to understand this, because a lot of Muslims don't. I explained this to Hassan Somali in Anwar. We had a real deep rap in the visiting room one day about this verse. You gotta have a security.
Yeah.
You gotta have guys in your rank that people scared of.
Right. You said people scared of.
Yeah. It happened in this land.
Right.
Before Umar, Ahmed bin al-As, Hamid, when they came in the deen, they came beating the Muslims all day long.
Right.
When Abu Jahl punched Hamza, punched Muhammad, and he came back and they said, you know, Abu Jahl just punched your uncle. Hamza said, who? He wouldn't smash Abu Jahl.
Right.
See, I'm a Muslim now, so all of them came in the deen. So I'm saying the same rule applies.
Right.
There wasn't nobody down there who could fight these boys off. But I had a reputation, even long time before I became a Muslim, of being, you know, in the Jahiliyyah. I come to these juvenile joints with a lot of the older dudes my age, right?
Right.
And at the time, I was in my 30s, in my early 30s. I was spry, young, you know,
Right.
gung-ho and all that. And I always had a ticket, right? So I went to all them dudes. I went to Fatback, I went to Jake the Snake, I went to Horsey, Willow Avenue. All them dudes and touch the look. Y'all be funny man here, scheming on my young brother, say, yeah, one more time. Then I'm gonna kill y'all. And they knew me, not as a Muslim,
From back in the day.
back in the day. Oh, no, but we here. And they backed off. I did the same thing down Huntington.
Yeah.
With Primo and them. I went to him and told him, he was locking with a homo. I said, you gotta move out of there, man. I ain't moving out. I said, if you don't move, I said, okay. And I met that. And they knew I met that. I called all the homos in the jail together. I called a meeting with them in Huntington. I said, y'all know me. I know all of them. Big. Some of y'all know me. You know, I don't play no game. Because they used to walk past the little young boy's crib, kissing, doing that kind of stuff, right? So I called, this was in 1984. I was in Huntington, after I left Graterford. Somewhere I called all the top homos in the jail. There was a lot of them down there in the yard. They said, what's up, Shaykh? I said, you know, y'all been walking past my little young brother's cribs and, you know, scheming on, squatting on. I said, y'all know me. Y'all go one more time. If any of y'all come past there one more time, I'm gonna wipe the jail, but I'm gonna kill y'all. And I have some killers down with me in. That's the man, some real hardcore killers down there, right? And they said, oh man, all that stopped. Stop moving now. So I'm saying, but see, at the same time, I'm gonna have to touch on some of this stuff.
Right.
Because in order to understand the history of what we went through, I'm gonna have to, when I talk about Talha, there's a reason why Talha went down Graterford for 10 years. He was down Graterford till I come back up there. He didn't have no help.
Edition. I might keep that for me.
Well, see, I gotta tell you that for the unedited part. That's for the information.
Right.
But see, there's a lot of things you don't know
Right.
about Talha, man. Talha's a special kind of dude, man. I mean, and I say that, and I'm prejudiced because I love you so much.
Right.
Like a son to me, man. But Talha down Graterford from 1980 to when I come up there in 1991, he went through hell, man. They tried to kill him. You know who saved him? All the homies in South Philly.
Yeah.
They said, we ain't Muslim, but you ain't gonna touch him. The same way Abu Talib, the same way Rasulullah Islam, when they tried to attack in Kobe, Bani Hashim and Bani Abu Talib, they said, we're not gonna get down Muhammad's religion, but we ain't touching him.
He's from us.
He from us. So I'm saying that rule applies. A lot of Allah sends you help from different places. He sends you help with the cameras and whatnot.
Right.
Talha won't do that.
Right.
They tried to assassinate him, and you got to remember all the groups combined against him: the Sufis, the Habashis, the Ahmadis. And they ain't counting the pagan boys who didn't believe in nothing. He had to go through all. He had to fight. And these were rough boys. These were rough boys down there, man. But see, I remember Talha come through hard. Talha come through Carpenter Street, man. He told him Carpenter, man. So you got to have them kind of guys as your leaders because you can't have no weak dude.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
When did you accept Islam and how old were you?
I accepted Islam in 1971. At the time I was 28.
28.
28 years old.
So you accepted Islam. This is in the county when you accepted
This is
Islam.
in county, Holmesburg County Prison.
Holmesburg. So is this the same time? Did you and Sheikh Hood become Muslim at the same time?
I came, all the guys that I got locked up with, my street charge, I was the first one became Muslim. Shaykh Hood they became Muslim about a year later. They became Muslim down Graterford. Like, I became Muslim in the county jail.
Okay.
You know.
So, so after you got your time, they sent you to where?
Graterford.
They sent you to Graterford. So this is 72 by the way.
Yeah, this is 72. I went down to Graterford and I was waiting to go to court. Cause I went to court yet. I was locked up, but I didn't go to court. I got locked up in 1970. But I didn't actually go to court for the street charge until 1972. That's when they found me guilty and gave me my sentence,
So you come to Graterford and you Sunni now.
Yes.
I
was a Sunni Muslim.
You were Sunni Muslim.
Sunni Muslim.
And like
always.
Always. You didn't come through the nation.
They didn't come through the nation at that time. And this is very, very important.
Right.
Because anybody at that time who became a so-called Muslim, from their standpoint, had to come to the Nation of Islam. Because Sunni Islam was so small down there,
Right.
there's only a handful of dudes.
Right.
Yeah.
How about that? So who was the earliest Muslim claimant to be Sunni you personally knew? Was it Yusuf Abedin?
Yusuf Abedin.
Okay, let's hear about Yusuf Abedin.
But let me say this. Yusuf Abedin was the first of the old head Muslims that I went across back then. And he was I don't know how he said this and when, but he was in the old Eastern State Penitentiary, right? And I met him down Holmesburg, we was in the hole. Right? When I first got locked up, they didn't put me in in the hole. They said I was, it's nothing.
Right.
So I met him personally. And he was a little short dude, little old dude. And I remember I was a Sunni Muslim, but I didn't really have this is 71.
Right.
I've been a Muslim man about 7, 8 months.
He was older than you?
Yeah, he was much older than me. And I remember when I first met him, see when I accepted Islam, I was 28. So when they sent me when I was waiting to go to court, I was down in Holmesburg. At the time, Western Penitentiary Eastern Penitentiary was still open, but they had closed it down, and all down Eastern, they said all the Nation of Islam dudes down, some down Holmesburg. From Eastern, because they closed Eastern down. And I was on D block, and I was the only Sunni Muslim on the block. Now remember now, I'm Sunni Muslim, but I got I ain't nothing.
Right.
They down there, cut up, calling me names. Once they found out I was a Sunni Muslim on the block, they started calling me names, they gonna kill me, this and that,
So Yusuf Abedin, he was on D block with you at the time?
Yes, he was on D block with me.
So explain to everybody who Yusuf Abedin was.
Yusuf Abedin was an old head brother that came through Eastern Penitentiary back in the 50s. Now, this is back in the 50s now.
50s?
Yeah.
So he was known to be on the Sunnah back then?
He was a Sunni Muslim.
May Allah have mercy.
He was a Sunni Muslim. I mean that. Now, we're not going to go into the point about the aspects of the Aqid.
Right.
He didn't have no knowledge back then.
Right. But he was
a Sunni Muslim.
So we talk about early as 1950.
I'm not going to say that early.
Okay.
I would say that about the middle 50s on up.
Middle 50s.
Yeah, from what I understand. Talha knows better than I do, but I'm saying from what I understand, from the middle 50s on up, he was a Sunni Muslim down Eastern.
So I want you to explain, what was so special about that?
He's special because he was the first real Sunni Muslim anybody ever knew. Especially me. I didn't know all the Sunni Muslims.
Right.
Because all the Sunni Muslims I knew at that time came from either me or somebody else that gave me dollar.
Right.
But Yusuf Abedin, he became a Sunni Muslim on his own. I don't know the origins of who gave him his deen. I don't know that, right? Talha would know that better than I do, but I know he was a Sunni Muslim down Eastern Penitentiary. One of them wasn't they didn't even allow you to have Qurans and stuff back then.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember. At that time in Pennsylvania, You weren't allowed to have those kind of religious materials except Bibles. Well, no Quran. So I don't know where he got his deen from. And to be fair, later on he had a lot of stuff messed up. But that was only natural because he didn't have access to tax series.
Right.
Because those things weren't even being printed
Right.
then.
You're talking about 1955.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
1955.
So what kind of effect did Yusuf Abedin have on you?
Yusuf Abedin had an effect on me in the sense that he was the person that I could see that was a Sunni Muslim. Now you understand something, when I say had an effect on me, I don't mean that because I didn't know nothing about the deen to have an effect.
Right.
I didn't know what an effect was from Islam, right?
Right.
But so I didn't really understand him until later on in life.
Right.
I didn't understand him right away when I met him. But I this is a funny incident. We used to go in the yard, right? Down home, we used in the hole, down Holmesburg, and he knew the difference between the Nation of Islam and Sunni Islam. Because what they used to do, Nation of Islam used to go in the yard, and it was big marching around, marching and all that, you know, the little military style stuff. And he would just go and stand in front of them. He'd go sit in front of them, stand in front of them, and sound them. I ain't no real Muslim so. Now, I didn't really understand all that then. Maybe I became a dean too.
Right.
You know, maybe a few months earlier.
Right.
He had been the dean, but he was fearless. I mean, he was a little short dude. He's fearless. He just stand in front, but they just stuff him off as an old crazy man. Right. So Allah protected him in that way, right? But I used to watch him. He would go sit there and sit down on the ground in front of him. When he would just sit there and just sit in and sound him. I seen this with my own eyes.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Because I didn't even really understand the significance of who he was until later on.
So later on.
Yeah.
So do you think? So that's proof that the Sunnah, as people understood it back then,
That's a good point.
it existed as early as the 50s.
That's good. Yeah.
So what was the cause of that? You think?
Well, see, listen. You just gave yourself the answer. No one knows the origins of when Sunni Islam came in Pennsylvania or the United States, period. I do know this. I know, see, I was in the jazz back then. A lot of jazz musicians were Muslims, right?
I mean, I'm talking about the nation.
No, I'm talking about they were Muslims. Yeah, when I say Muslim, I mean Muslim. I don't mean no nation.
Right.
You know, so, but a lot of them weren't Muslims in a way. They were Ahmadis, right? And they used to go to that masjid down on Lancaster Avenue. It was called Cuba then. It was called Cuba. I think what is it? That's it's the Philadelphia masjid, right? Ain't that down on 47th Street? Right across from Old Claire Muhammad?
Yeah.
What's Claire Muhammad called now?
Philadelphia Masjid.
Yeah, there's another joint used to be right down there. It's called Cuba. Huh?
Cuba Masjid.
Was that Cuba?
Yeah.
That was Cuba. That's where all the magicians that were Muslims used to come and make prayer.
Wow.
Right? This is back in the 60s. Now I didn't know about Islam, but I knew people like Ahmed Jamal and Muslim jazz musicians were Muslims. At the time, I didn't know the difference between Ahmadiyism, Sufism,
Right.
the correct religion, Sunnism, right now. I didn't know the difference between that. I learned that stuff later on.
Right.
You understand? You understand? I was dealing with a lot of, I knew enough to have the correct deen.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you know enough to have the correct deen? What contributed to that?
Because my cousins was the one that gave me, I told you how I first entered Islam in particular. Down Holmesburg, when that came from the yard, I wasn't no Muslim then, you know. I seen my cousin, Abdullah, and he was in jail too for something else. He was in there praying. I said, wait, let me look. You know, it looked nice. So I went in my crib and I just got down my knees and started doing the same thing. He thought I was doing the same thing. And they started laughing, so you want to be a Muslim? I said, what is that? He explained to me, man, I took Shahada. This was in 1971.
Wow.
Right? And I've been a Sunni Muslim since then. Now remember, they eventually they were all part of what is now Masjid. I didn't know nothing about no masjids. I didn't know about nothing.
Right.
And the Quran I was introduced to Quran right away, but the Quran we had was old, dusty Yusuf Ali.
Yusuf Ali.
There wasn't no other Quran in the scene.
Wow, so y'all were dealing with Yusuf Ali back then?
Right.
Wow.
And all Yusuf Ali and Muhammad Ali, the Ahmadiyya boy. Right, and with a lot of those crazy, tafsirs in there, right?
So that goes to show you that there was a very strong Indian and Pakistani presence even back then.
Oh, deep Indian and Pakistani. Yeah, but most of the Ahmadiyyas, they come out of India. A lot of that there was a lot of Maududi down there.
Right.
There was a lot of Maududi down there. Yusuf Ali.
Right.
Muhammad Ali, he was the Sufi boy. Ahmadiyya boy. So all them boys, man, they held sway in the penitentiary.
Right.
And a lot of Sufi stuff. Because I got misguided from that over a period of time. The mercy of Allah that I had on me. I got caught up in a lot of that Sufi stuff. Because I used to write Talha. I used to write Talha from down Huntington. After he went back down to Graterford, and I used to try to convince him about the Sufi stuff. That's all he just he said he knew better.
Right.
He's more advanced than me in that.
Right.
Now later on, I'll read stuff like the wisdom of the idiots, and a lot of that stuff out of Turkey and all that kind of.
So now we're talking about 72.
Yeah.
73.
72, 73, yeah. When I first went down to Graterford, yeah.
Okay. So how long were you at Graterford?
I was at Graterford the first time around. I was at Graterford from 1972 to 1975.
So when did Shaykh Talha come on the scene?
I didn't meet Shaykh Talha in 1975 down in Pittsburgh. Talha had met my brother down on Huntington, because he got transferred from Camp Hill to Huntington. I got transferred from Graterford to Pittsburgh. We both met down Pittsburgh, and I met him down there. It was instant. We hit it off instantly.
So you had already heard about him?
No.
So how did you meet Shaykh Talha?
Huh?
How did you meet Shaykh Talha?
It's hard to say how I met him in particular because it's been so long ago.
Right.
But I do know when we came down to Graterford. See, I met him basically through my brother, because he knew my brother down in Huntington.
Now your brother passed from Chester, right?
Yeah, brother, he died about 3 years ago. In that COVID stuff, right? Him and died. I met him through my brother, right? Talha was more advanced than me as far as the dean was concerned. Remember now, in my early days in the dean, I still had a lot of that black nationalism and stuff in me. Talha didn't have none of that. He was just pure Sunni.
Right.
Right?
Allah bless him.
Now, I helped him in a lot of other ways, right? Kind of being older than him. I had a lot of experience in things he didn't have experience in.
Right.
But as far as the pure knowledge of the dean, he had more expert, he had more knowledge than me than that, right? I always acknowledge that, right? He always play it down, but he said, no, he always say no. But we don't go to think about it. But the thing is, remember now, we went down Pittsburgh was corrupt too.
The Muslims
were corrupt. They walk around wearing short pants, and they let faggots coming to the Juma and whatnot. So we both were strong on our deen. Right? So we went down there and we straightened all up. We kicked all them dudes out. Told me they better not come out no more, so we straightened all that out after about a year. Straightened all that out.
So how old was Shaykh Talha at this time?
Talha had to be at least, I'm about 15 years older than Talha now, right? I'm 82. Talha, I guess, the time Talha had to be in the early 20s.
Early 20s. So explain Shaykh Talha's personality. What was he like?
Talha was, remember now, Talha was a known gang leader on the corner, right? So he always had a strong internal bar as far as strength.
And leadership.
Right? He didn't know a lot of things. He didn't know a lot of things behind just experience, which I experienced, right? I've been going to jail since 1956.
Right.
56.
Right.
I've been going to jail. So I don't come through things that a lot of these guys ain't never seen. Things I've done on the street, I can tell you I've done that you ain't never seen. But anyway, but he had, as far as the book knowledge, he had more knowledge than me. You see. That I come to ascertain over a period of years. He always stuff around and say no, but I know that.
Right.
Remember now, when I first came to the dean, there wasn't no Sahih Bukharis. there wasn't no. They had printed a old English version of Sa'eed Muslim. There was an old miscat, a masterpiece, right, by Orion born in Hobson, right, and all that. That was the only books down there, and a lot of other little deviant stuff, right. I know there were deviants now. I didn't know that back then,
Right.
because I didn't have people. I didn't know about no sellers. But Tal told me, we talked about this recently too. He said, you can't say you were a seller because if you were a Sunni Muslim, like, you were a seller.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I thought about it, I said, how many ways you, I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
So you saying that that's what we call ourselves Orthodox Muslims, distinguish ourselves from the Nation of Islam.
Right.
You know, we had to do that because the Nation of Islam hated us so much because they know we didn't recognize them as Muslims, right?
Right.
So they hated, that's one of the main things they hated us for, right?
Right.
And I had a lot of static with them in the early 70s down in Graterford, right? Because they were on a hardcore vibe, man, about intimidation and all that. So they did a lot of foul stuff. I don't get it now. They did a lot of foul stuff.
So let me ask you this. When did the Sunni Salafi community become a structured community? And how?
Probably, remember now, when I left Graterford in 75, we were pretty structured by then. Because books would start coming on the scene, knowledge and whatnot, right? And plus the Muslims that was coming in, a lot of them was really good young. Most of them were real young, but most of them were younger than me. I was only about 29 years old myself, 30 years old. And most of my guys that came in then, they were much younger than me. So I became the man down there of them, right? You gotta remember that at that time, our whole thing was just trying to survive.
Right.
Because we was constantly in a war with the Nation of Islam. Remember, Badi was still living. And Farrakhan, and Malcolm and all their top people were still living. And all their top guns, it was from Pennsylvania, Primo and Lonnie Dawson and Shamadine, and this is just for y'all, man. Shamadine, they was all down there, right? But they knew me. They knew me from the juvenile joints and knew me from the streets, so they had a lot of respect for me. So just me, myself, personally, my personal cachet with them kept a lot of stuff cooled out. Because when we first came to her, when they first sent all them guys down from Eastern, down Holmesburg, I was on the D block, and I said, you know, because we didn't let you come out there, so I had to feed the block. So the first day they were there, there was about 100 of them on the block. They were screaming, hollering, man, calling all kinds of names. See, we got a rap, we got one of them raghead Arabs down there. You know, talking about me, oh man. I said, what I got myself into?
So what are the numbers looking like now? This is before you guys started battling to actually make the Sunnah
This is
become...
all this is a process.
Right.
Right? The process was that, yeah, remember now, Muslims start coming in Islam other than what I brought them in, right? I'm not saying I brought a lot of these, but I'm saying Muslims started coming, there was a lot of Islam, there was Islam in the streets at that time, right?
Really?
Yeah, because they had a mass here down in Columbia that was called, what's that joint called? It became Mujahideen. It was called Mujahideen back then. They moved from 19th Columbia to West Philly. That's when they broke in two parts. They was following, what's the boy, Pakistan, he died, old Shaykh. Jelani.
Jelani?
Yeah. They was following him. We knew what he was right there. Yeah, Pukara, yeah. So they still here now. Some of them over here now.
They upstate New York?
Yeah, some of them over here. Sophia Million almost is that, you know? Over on that block, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know everybody who's jailed.
Too.
I know everybody who's jailed. Sometimes I can show them to you sometimes if I see them. But anyway, so when I became a Muslim in 1971, when they finally shipped me to Graterford, there was only around about 90 Muslims in the whole jail in Graterford. And there had to be at least 400 FOI boards there. They completely ran the jail, everything. They even had the guard ski and all that. And
you said it was 400?
yeah, at least. And they used to bartend down all day long. They used to run the yard and military formation and all that. And they used to keep trying to start stuff with us, man. He said they were trying to start stuff with us, and they knew I was the imam, right? So a lot of them older ones, they knew me personally. I don't want to name names, I guess I don't name names, but they knew me personally. So that cooled, my personal hookup kept a lot of stuff cooled out.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But as we got stronger, as we went along, then after Elijah died in 75, that's when they started going downhill.
So how did y'all become strong? Was it mainly calling them to Tawheed and Sunnah?
Yeah, we started getting numbers as people started coming in.
From the streets.
From the streets. And young boys coming in. There's been a lot of dawah in the jail too. We did a lot of dawah, right? So the numbers, but not only this is important to say. Not only did we begin to get numbers, but we begin to get more knowledge, right? Because by that time they started printing Sahih Bukhari in Arabic.
Right.
And at the time I learned from an old dude down there in 1972. There's an old brother named Jamil. He's from down North Philly. He used to have Arabic class down there. That's when I first learned Arabic. And the guy, the only people who came from the streets was the old Sheikh out of Islamic Center in Washington, D.C. His name was Dr. Raouf. He was an Egyptian. I think he died since then. But he used to come in and tell us little things and whatnot, you know.
So what would he tell you?
You know, he would tell us that it was good for us to accept Islam and whatnot. But they always let it come out. At that time, it wasn't like now.
It wasn't Tawheed.
It wasn't Tawheed.
Right.
That I could think back.
Right.
I don't want to say he wasn't that, but I'm saying, from what I can remember, it wasn't that. He was just saying, read the Quran. To his credit, told us to read the Quran, and you very rarely heard anybody except for us talk about the Sunnah of Rasulullah. Right.
So basically, the Sunnah started to become more widespread, dominant through teaching.
Right.
And also, sometimes rumbles had to be established.
Yeah, well, see, the teaching became dominant as more knowledgeable dudes started coming in. I remember a lot of guys started coming in jail that was already Muslims.
Right.
Right? So they got caught with corruption, but they still had a little knowledge.
So
right?
what time frame you talking about?
I'm talking about in the 70s.
Okay, you're talking about the late 70s?
This is the early 70s.
Okay, early 70s.
Like, cause late 70s, that's when I met Talha. I was down in Pittsburgh by then. I stayed down in Graterford from 1972 to 1975. Now, 75, Elijah died.
Right.
So when Elijah died, this Islam started going down. And they started going down as far as their prestige, because they used to worship him. So when he died, a lot of that stuff fell apart.
Right.
And that's when Wallace took over the Jamaat, right? And he was calling himself a Sunni Muslim, but he was a Wani, and all that.
Right.
But anyway,
a lot of Mu'tazila
right.
tendencies, yeah.
Right. So, and by that time, I started getting more knowledge. By that time, I still hadn't met Talha yet. I met Talha in 1975 down in Pittsburgh. But I still met people who had knowledge, right?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And I started getting access to books that I didn't have before, right? And I still was, I was still groping my way through about what was cool, what wasn't cool,
Right.
As far as what was not, what was not. See, I didn't even really have a real understanding. I remember something else. It took me a while to even understand the aspects of ilm and things like that, right? Because I was still hooked up on a lot of, I infused a lot of that black nationalist stuff to my deen.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I didn't too much do it purposely. I just thought it was a natural thing.
Right, of course.
The race thing and all that.
Right.
Because that was in play. That was in play. The black nationalism and black liberation and all that was in play back in the 70s.
Right.
Early 70s. So
that was the theme of the day.
that was the theme of the day. And that's what I got busted on.
Right.
That's what I got busted for. So I didn't really give that up.
Right.
But my dean still took precedent over that. But gradually I went along, that stuff, Allah took that stuff, took it away from me, right? But it was a time, but it took time.
Right.
Because I didn't really have understand about the scholars and stuff. Like Talha had knowledge of all them guys long time before I did. 'Cause I didn't really begin to get knowledge about Shaykh Albani and a lot of the sheikhs was living there. Shaykh Hussein, Fawzan on him around about the late 80s. Cause I got shipped from Graterford to this Pepper joint. I went to Leavenworth. Stayed there for 2 years. I met a lot of guys down there.
Right.
I met the guys down there who killed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's people in their house in Washington, D.C. in 74. I met them down there, you know? So, I left there.
What year did the Sunni have the split over the Bayat?
You gotta ask Hood about that. I left by then.
Okay,
that was in the 70s.
Okay.
That was in the 70s. I was left by then. So a lot of the events that took place in the late 70s, I left by then. The Hood was the man down there then. You see, he was the man, but he didn't really want. He really wanted, right?
Right.
So you got to ask him about the things that I know. I know the generalities of it, but I don't know a lot of the specifics. Talha probably know more about it than I do.
Right.
But that took place because they had made a little secret. A lot of guys were doing little things on the side, right? Making pacts with the administration about little things and stuff like that. So Hood would know more about that. Hood would know more about the events that took place in, say, 75, up to when I came back. I left Graterford in 75. Went to Pittsburgh, then went to Huntington, went to the Federal joint. I came back to Graterford in 1991. I got reunited with Talha, I guess. Next morning, they shipped me down Graterford. A month later, I was on a bus going to Leavenworth, Federal joint, right?
Wow.
Now, by that time, Talha was in Graterford all that time. So I stayed down in Federal joint 2 years, and when they sent me back to Pennsylvania, to the state joint, that was in 91.
So now it's 1981.
Now it's 1991.
I mean 1991.
That's when I met. That's why I'm hooked back up with Talha again.
Hooked back up with Talha.
Because Talha was the man down here.
How did Shaykh Talha grow? How had he grown?
Leaps and bounds.
In what way?
With knowledge about the deen.
Right.
The love for it. And he also learned some things that he had to learn as far as like organizing, things like that. He learned a lot of things from me in the sense of how you had to you had to have a military aspect of your religion. You had to have guys in your ranks that people were scared of.
Right.
And people feared because that's how you fear Islam.
Right. See
what I'm saying?
Right.
And all those things he learned from me. And he had more knowledge than me, inshallah. But as we went down there, that's when I began to move ahead real fast and deep on the aspects of knowledge that you got from books like Sahih Bukhari, and we had tapes down there. We used to have videos of the scholars and whatnot.
So by 91, this is when I think we started having a lot more access and stuff.
Actually, we had access to everything because the Graterford that time was wide open. We had everything. Bible was down there, didn't we? You came down there or what?
No, I came down right before you.
Yeah. And we had access to things that we had access to a masjid system because down there, they let us build a masjid system down there with 3 masjids downstairs. See, y'all, what you want me to do, it can't be done. Yeah. You want to ask me questions and tell me about this, but if I don't say about this, you ain't understand, let you know about that.
Right.
Yeah. Let you know about that.
I get you.
So it's like a chain.
Right, I get you.
You can't ask me what happened in 1972 without me giving you the corresponding events that took place back then.
Right, happened, yeah.
You won't know about Yusuf Abedin, but I can only tell you what I know about. You won't ask me questions about when I don't know that man beyond that.
Right.
I'm ready to be somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah. You see, you ask me about, I can tell you about things that I experienced myself.
Right.
Down Graterford.
Right.
And down Pittsburgh.
Right.
And down Huntington.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?